So I'm here at the Four Seasons Toronto with Patrick Adams from Suits.
Hi.
Patrick, how does it feel starring on probably the Critics' Choice for the best show on TV?
Which critics?
Well, mine. Okay, yeah.
Yes.
Okay, fine. Call it out. Yeah.
Murtz
Okay,
Choice
yeah,
for
okay,
best show
yeah,
on TV.
okay.
That feels great. That feels good to know. We're in that strange place in the third season where we're hitting the halfway mark, where we're sort of starting to not even know where we are because we're so tired. But what always kind of bolsters our energy is the fact that we're going to be coming and starting up in a couple of weeks. And every time that happens, it gives us that, refreshing sense that people are actually enjoying what we're doing and they're really into it. And people like yourself who watch a lot of TV are enjoying what we're doing. And so it feels great. It feels great to walk around and have people stop me and be familiar with the work.
I felt like this was sort of like a one-plot kind of show. Like, as soon as The Secret comes out, where are they going to go? And I feel like now The Secret is slowly starting to come out, so where will it go?
I wish that I knew that. Actually, I'll take that back. I'm kind of glad that I don't know that. To be honest, without revealing too much, I felt the same way when we started the show. I was worried about it, and I think a lot of people were worried about it. But I think what the creators did and the writers did that were so genius is they kept the secret that Mike had, but they didn't rely on it. It wasn't like the only stakes in the show, and I think other shows probably would have fallen into that realm where that was all that kept the plot progressing, and every time there was a problem, Mike solved it with this super amazing brain ability he had. And then you sort of just turn into this procedural sort of show where a kid is just sort of fixing everything with his brain every week, and that would have been really boring. In terms of where we go from here, I think it's like really about these characters and the conflicts that we're finding that they can all find, not just conflicts, but the coming together. So now Mike is obviously in a relationship with Rachel. That's going to change the dynamic this year. Mike and Harvey are on the outs at the beginning of the season, and they're really going to have to find a way to come back together. And there's so many different combinations of people on the show, plus the new people we have coming in from this new law firm that we've come together with. So there's this sort of endless amount of pairings and conflicts that we can create.
I always thought it was going to be like a Shatner-Spader kind of show with Boston Legal, but like a younger version. And now I feel like the mentor-pupil thing is something that we've seen on TV before, but for some reason this feels different. Is it just because you and Harvey are younger than the typical 60-year-old mentor and 30-year-old pupil?
That's a really good question, to be honest. I always have such a hard time knowing what we're doing differently because we're so in it. And maybe we're not doing anything differently. Maybe it's just the fact that we are who we are and we've been cast. I know that for me, this is my first big job, and so I came into this with a sense of being mentored by not just Gabriel, who I am every day, but by everybody I'm around. I mean, I've been learning so much and just downloading so much information about what it is to finally be an actor professionally, and to be, at sort of headlining a television series and everything that comes with that. And so really, I think a lot of people are connecting to what's really going on with me as a person, and that I'm trying to bring that to the show as much as possible and be very authentic in the sort of wide-eyed nature of how I'm feeling every day on set. Now, in the third year, I'm sort of getting my confidence, and I feel like I've learned a lot so far. So I think as that's happening, Mike is changing too. And I think the audience, now that they're relating to this young character, and we got a lot of young people that watch this show, I think they relate to that person who's really on the edge of trying to figure out who they are and what they're going to accomplish in this world, and they relate to this person who's doing everything it takes to make it, and hopefully they continue to join us for the ride.
What I love the most about it is I'm used to sort of seeing law shows that have a big ensemble cast. Right. This one is still relatively small. Do you think that that's basically what adds to the flavor of the show, the fact that in every episode, originally it might have been about Mike and Harvey, but now I want to know about Rachel, I want to know about Donna and Louis?
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. And from the beginning, I think both Gabriel and I knew that in that first season. We knew we were going to spend a lot of time just establishing us, but we were so excited to have the audience get into these other people because they cast such incredible actors that all have completely different strengths. They're not just... Rick Hoffman is the funniest, sort of most talented guy I've ever met, but I think it's so rare that you'd find him in a show with me even. We're two totally different kinds of actors. Or even Meghan, she could totally be in a completely different kind of show, and yet somehow it's not so much our styles of work, but really the kind of people we are, and it speaks to how actually close we are as a cast. And that closeness sort of becomes playfulness, and it becomes trust, and it becomes this willingness to sort of go places with each other. And I think that is a huge part of the success of the show, and I think it's why people keep tuning in. And I think the deeper it gets, again, and the more relationships we start forming with each of these characters, the more sort of attached to everybody that people are becoming. So it's really exciting.
My theory about the show is that Mike is going to eventually have to make a choice between Harvey and Rachel, and I feel like the start of that is going to happen in this season. Do you feel like it's a sort of Mike either with Harvey or either with Rachel? Like, is it an either-or situation?
Someone asked me that recently, too. I don't think if it's... I think right now, towards the end of the season, it was a situation like that, and I think that what we saw is that Mike sort of made his decision. You know, at once he basically went behind Harvey's back and did something, even though he thought he was helping him, and then he chose Rachel, and he did what he told Harvey he wouldn't do. I think that Mike knows he's never going to be Harvey. He's not going to be another Harvey Specter. He's not a miniature Harvey Specter. He's just not built the same way. And for him to do what he does and do it well, he needs a support system, and he's lost it. You know, he's lost his grandmother. He's lost his friends. And so Rachel really slides into that spot. And I think, you know, I don't think the show will end with that sort of having to make a decision. I think that whatever Mike is going to become, it instead will be an amalgamation of those sort of two people. Even if he's with Rachel or not, you know, he's going to need that energy in his life, as well as being this brilliant lawyer.
You know what? That season finale ended, and people said, "What did you think of that Suits finale?" And I was like, "That was literally the hottest scene I have ever seen on television and reality television." What was that scene? I mean, that was literally the craziest scene I've ever seen. I did not see it coming at all. So, was it hard filming that? Obviously, I don't think it would. Yeah.
No, it is. It's hard. Well, you know, when you're basically like brother, like Meghan and I have known each other for so long. So, you know, when you have that kind of relationship and then you're shooting this, you know, and it's not a quick scene. Things like that take hours to shoot. So we were there for like 8 hours, and there was that first part. Some
guys have it all.
It's a really hard job. The first part of the scene was the argument that we had, and then the second part of the scene was, you know, and then you're trying to figure out how the sex scene works. You get in there, and it's like, are we going to do it lying down on the thing? And you've got about 18 people in a room sort of trying to figure out this thing that, at the end of the day, our job is to make it look spontaneous and exciting and like it's come out of nowhere. So, you know, I have a great job. I'm a lucky man, especially lucky because Meghan is so cool, so great, and so easy to work with. But those scenes are a little more methodical and less spontaneous. But I'm glad that you know, that's what we were hoping for, is it would have that effect on people.
What did your girlfriend think of that scene? Or did she skip that episode?
No, she didn't skip it. I have to watch her make out with the same guy on television.
Right, but it's not
She's got abs from here to here. She's got like 18 layers of abs. We're used to it. You know, we're all friends. We all know each other, and you know, you just she was fine with it. She's into the show. She loves the show, so she was really excited for Mike.
You know, I promised myself I wasn't going to ask the one question that everybody always asks. Do you know what that is?
What?
Every interview I've ever read, you've answered this question. No, close. Close. No. So,
what kind of suit do you wear?
No, you're close. You're close.
Do you really have a photographic memory?
No. What was that, from like Slovenia? No. It's okay. So here's how I like thought about it. How I was going to ask it to differentiate it. Are you ready? Okay. What makes you and Gabriel have such great chemistry? Chemistry. See, yeah. Because now you can't say chemistry because that's what everybody says.
That's why we've changed the question.
Yes.
There, you know, and that, for the amount of times I've had to answer the question, I should have a better stock one for you. But really, it's the same thing that exists between all people in the cast, and I think it started with us, and it's a mutual respect. It's an encouragement. It's that sense of play I talked about before. You know, Gabriel and I started, we didn't chemistry read together. We had no chemistry read.
Yeah.
We had nothing like that. And so when we both got the parts, I think we both sort of simultaneously, it's a long process doing those deals. And so you kind of get through it. And I had the part first because they wanted to get Mike cast. They really wanted Gabriel. And then finally he signed on. And I think both of us got to that point where we both are on something, but we don't know this other person. So I called his people and I said, can we make a lunch happen? I would love to sit down with Gabriel. And we went and sat down, and I think we were both really nervous because we thought, this is the person who I'm potentially going to be working really closely with for a long time.
And this is the whole show right here. This
is it. And actors can be, dickheads, for lack of a better word. I don't know if we can say that on Indie Pulse, but Inside Pulse, cut. What did I say? New name.
Indie Pulse. This is not some emo concert.
That's my emo band.
Okay.
Indie Pulse.
All right, then it's the same.
Yeah, we met, we sat down to lunch, and we both had this moment of like, is this person going to be cool? Are we going to get along? And then immediately started not talking about the show and not talking about our work or, like how we worked. Like a lot of actors want to jump into that. We started talking about our families, and we started talking about where we came from and why we got into acting and, why we were excited about this show. And through talking about that, we really just got to the process of talking about, look, when we're on set, it's going to be long, the hours are going to be hard, we're both going to have hard days, and we always want to remain in communication with each other and keep supporting each other and encouraging each other. And so much of our show is about stuff that's not necessarily just happening on the page. Aaron, the creator, was so supportive from the beginning of impulsive, joking around, trying new things, changing the line, whatever we could do to make the scene work. And you can't do that if you're not with people that you really trust.
You know what? When people say to me, what are your top 3 shows, do you know what I say?
Baywatch.
No. I'm not a Baywatch guy. Look
Criminal
at me.
Minds.
No. Okay, I like Criminal Minds. No,
Orphan Black.
I know you love Orphan Black.
Oh, my God, I love Orphan Black.
And Tatiana Maslany is spectacular.
She's unbelievable. Yeah.
But mine are Friday Night Lights, Lost, and Suits. Now, do you notice a trend here?
Nailed it.
Yeah.
All 3.
Yeah, like how does that happen? You're like the chupacabra of TV.
They were all my favorite shows too. I had Lost when I was on Lost. My cell phone ring was that dissonant Lost tone from the opening thing. Like every time my phone would ring, it would make that sound.
What is it now?
What is it now? On set, and I think now it's just a normal ring.
Okay.
Maybe Game of Thrones, but I think we moved away from that.
Okay.
I've grown up now. I've matured.
Okay.
I've just used
3rd season
now. You know how it is. No, probably because I was so embarrassed. I was on set in the makeup trailer with Terry O'Quinn, and my phone starts to ring.
Oh my
It's
God.
the Lost theme.
You're kidding.
Sort of slowly turns their head.
Did that actually happen?
Yeah.
Oh
Absolutely.
my goodness.
Yeah, absolutely. So I was a huge fan of Lost, and Friday Night Lights hadn't come out yet, but I had seen the pilot because they sent it to me when I did the episode, and it was unbelievable. So yeah, I'm very lucky. But I also did almost every show in existence before I got to do my own show, so it was only a matter of time before I got to do a lot of good ones.
Is it better to sort of have the magic touch for these like one-off shows where like everything you touch, you're like Midas, everything touches, you touch turns to gold?
Friday Night Lights I did. I have at least 6 other non-gold.
But is it better than, like you're on established shows, everybody loves them. Now you're like on Suits when you started, and it's like it's all you, like it's Patrick Adams,
It's a lot of me. It was the best training I could get as an actor, not just as an actor and how to, be a good actor on a TV show, but also how to, how to do the schedule and how to understand how to like help run a set. When you're the number 1 or the number 2 in a show, like you're really responsible for creating an energy on set that people enjoy and that you can sort of help people manage the really crazy long hours. And I saw some people do it spectacularly badly over my course of time doing guest spots on shows. And so I got a real education in like, how to be respectful and how to like really curb your ego when the time came to do it.
Is this the dream? Like you're sort of in Toronto, you're shooting this hit show in Toronto. It's like when you walk into Yorkville, maybe past the Four Seasons, girls like scream your name.
Did that happen outside?
No, but you're killing it. You're killing it. I'm trying to paint you as like
totally happen. This is the dream always changes. So it's now that there's this, I've got dreams that I'm working on and working towards, but it's never lost on me, and especially being in Toronto, where I'm from. And having sort of spent a lot of time as a young kid walking these streets and just kind of going, what am I going to do with my life? And wanting to be an actor and thinking that I could maybe do it. But, when I draw the line between that place and this, it just seems like there's so far that I almost can't believe it's all happened. And it is really, I just am so grateful for all of the opportunities I've had and the opportunity to do this here in my hometown and to be near my family and feel like I've really come full circle and to use it as a springboard for whatever comes next.
You know, when people say, what do you want to be when you grow up, I say Patrick Adams. You know, like, you get to wear suits all the time. You had that scene with Meghan. You're, like, dating a girl from, like, Pretty Little Liars. Like, I mean, it's a pretty, you're at the, you know, like, look at this life.
This is a good life. I love this interview. I'm feeling good about this. Thank you. I'm an actor. I spend a lot of time in sort of this dark place where I'm tearing it all apart, but you're right. I'm extremely lucky.
Like with candles and like a
and a guitar,
yeah.
you know, and no, it's I'm blessed. I really am, and you know, sometimes you lose sight of it because this is a hard business, and you spend so much time thinking about how you're going to get it right the next time, and it can be very egotistical, and you're spending a lot of time watching yourself on the TV, and you're sort of tearing yourself apart and your performances apart. But I am really, really grateful for this opportunity. I think that I've got a lot of great things going on. So hopefully I don't drop them all.
Two little like quick questions. What does the J stand for, and why half Adams and not full Adams?
The J is. I used to be so embarrassed about my middle name. I used to never tell anybody, and now I'll tell you. My middle name is Johannes.
No way, really? I was thinking like Jacob for sure.
I never that Joseph or Jacob. No, it's Johannes. My father's German, and my grandfather's name was Johannes, so that was his name. And when I became an actor, there was already a Patrick Adams, and then we came up with all
IMDb
creator ideas, and I said Patrick J. And then
half
Adams has a very long story connected to it, but essentially it's sort of changed meanings over the years for me. It was a nickname I had with my group of friends coming out of college. We were kids, we just nicknamed each other, but it's something that really stuck. And then as I started becoming a professional, whatever I do, you know, I was taking pictures, and I was an actor, and so I thought, oh, there's two halves of the same. You know, I'm sort of, those are my two halves. And then I always connected my creative side to my Adams half, my father's side of the family, and my storytelling side, because he was a journalist. So that made it sort of half Adams is the part that wants to do this stuff. As it progresses, there becomes a lot of different reasons for it. But right now, the most important thing is that as Twitter and Tumblr and all of this stuff that I sort of tentatively engage with, and I like the idea of it, but I don't like the idea of sort of being all out in the world. It's a way for me to sort of have a pseudonym that says, like, yeah, this is me and I'm writing this, but to just remind myself, I guess, that it's not all of me, and that at any given moment,
I knew you'd be deep. I knew it.
You know what I mean?
I figured it was like whiskey, one of your like melancholy, like Nights with the Poe book, or with the guitar.
With the guitar and the candles. This is what I've come up with, and there'll be a different meaning next year, maybe. But yeah, for me, that's sort of all of it.
And now, finally, just to wrap things up, you know I'm going to have to ask you for a Season 3 preview. Now, I'm going to tell you what I know, so you got to tell me something that I don't know. Okay, I know that there's that UK merger. I know that Harvey's mad at Mike.
Okay.
I know that, like, Mike is now Team Rachel. Am I hitting all the spots here?
Mike is Team Rachel?
Yeah, like, because he kind of chose her over Harvey, right? Sure. So what am I missing? Like, I need one big scoop that nobody else has, because we're friends now.
Well, you know about Michelle Fairley on the show.
Yes.
That's not a big scoop, I guess.
No.
That's not what you're
No, I want like a storyline thing that's not going to spoil. Yeah, nothing like that. Like, you know, just something small. Something like irrelevant to the grand scheme of things, but that I can like say exclusive.
Okay, let me think about this for a second.
Okay.
I want to get it right for you.
Okay.
We do a flashback episode again.
Oh, I knew that with Harvey. Yeah.
I'm just trying to think if there's something from that I don't know. Am I going to get in trouble for this stuff?
Something small. Like, you're making it seem like I want a big storytelling point. I just want to know if he's drinking, like, Coke or Pepsi or something. You know, like something small. Yeah.
Oh. Well, let me think on it. Hold on. What do we think? I'm trying to think.
Maybe does somebody come back?
You'll get to see our old friend Trevor again.
See, that's good.
You'll get to see our old friend Trevor again.
That guy just doesn't die, right? He's like a cockroach that you just can't get rid of.
It breaks my heart because literally Tom Lipinski is one of the greatest human beings on earth, and so he did such a good job of playing this like deceptive, awful best friend.
Everybody hates him.
And everybody hates him. He walks down the street and people are screaming at him, and every time he comes to work here, part of me wants to go like, just play him a little nicer because I want to keep you around. But he doesn't. He's like, no, this is who he is. Well, he is nice though. He's
just got that face.
He's just got that face. He's got that young Josh Brolin face that you feel like he's gonna hurt you.
How about this? Donna and Harvey.
Donna and Harvey.
Okay.
You're gonna learn some stuff about.
Okay.
Yeah. Yep,
And
I'll learn some stuff about it. It's a great flashback episode. I think, with the flashback stuff, we always want to make episodes that don't just feel like that episode of like growing pains when you're growing up or whatever. That was just like
campy.
We just
you're wearing
don't
like a
have any
sweater
money for this episode, so we're gonna like do a clip show or something. Different sweater, exactly. We want to make sure that they like move the story forward in some way, and that what we're dealing with in the present is a reflection of what we sort of dealt with in the past. And I think they're doing a great job of it, and they did a great job of it this year. So you get to see a lot of that. And the Mike Rachel stuff, without...
I'm not a big Rachel fan. Don't tell Meghan. I think Mike and Harvey...
What's your deal with Rachel?
Because...
Why do you think we have to choose between the two?
Because it just reminds me of many situations, where like your friend picks the girl over you, even though you're the one who like brought him to where he is. And like, you know what I'm saying? And I think a lot of guys who watch the show feel that way.
Well,
you know the saying. I'm not going to say the bros before and the blank.
But a lot of guys feel the opposite way too, where they're like, "What are
Those
you?
are not guys.
Why are you screwing it up with that girl?"
Those are not guys.
Go on Twitter and write like Meghan Markle. They're going crazy. They can't take it. I almost get beaten up by guys on the street because they're like, "Why won't you close the deal?" And then finally the last episode happened,
and now they hate you for closing the deal.
No, they're like, "Now you're my boy. You're all grown up." I'm curious about it. I think that you might have a little bit of a different feeling going into this season, especially.
I'm not going to like them not to, and that's my feeling on this season. I feel like we're heading into a very dangerous season because this show's bread and butter is Harvey doing funny stuff, Mike telling him not to, and then Mike ends up,
Harvey doing funny stuff?
Well, like his little like tricks, I don't like this like theory of like Batman going there without Robin. I absolutely hate it.
What do you mean? Just go on. Like the Batman going where without Robin?
Well, just like I know that they're not going to get along at the beginning because of this whole like Rachel thing and telling Rachel, and so like I'm very worried that like
it's not so much the Rachel thing. It's more that
Mike went behind his back.
Really went behind his back and did something completely disloyal. I mean, the Rachel thing's going to be icing on the cake, but we haven't. That's not why what's happening is happening.
I just like the team. I don't like the. I don't like.
You don't want them broken up.
Yeah, it's like I liked Hogan and Savage together. Like I like the Mega Powers.
Right, but sometimes you had to have that tested a little bit. You had to have a little bit.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying? I don't think you're going to be disappointed, and I think that we all know that the show is about us as a team. So it's not like we're spending the entire season not speaking to each other in our separate corners.
Okay, that's what I was thinking. Okay.
Yeah, I think that's clever advertising, but we get back onto the same page a little bit, but I think it's different, and that's the great thing about our show is that the characters have to evolve. And
I don't want to.
Mike can't be the puppy forever, and so as he grows, as he's getting into this third season, you got somebody who actually knows a little bit what he's doing now. He knows Harvey, and he's making decisions for his own personal life which affect that, but at the same time he's a grown man, and Harvey has to learn to respect that. And I think that as you see that start to happen, you see an even better team come together where Mike is a lot more capable than he was in the first season, and so he can be used as a really direct weapon.
But I don't want him working for Lewis. I want him working for Harvey. I don't like this. Okay. All right. Well, do you think that Harvey makes Mike more ruthless, or does Mike make Harvey more ethical?
It doesn't seem like Mike is making Harvey very ethical most of the time. But I think that Harvey's learning some stuff, and he's definitely like softening up a little bit because he has this person in his life that's reminding him of some of those things that he might be lacking in his life. But I think at this point, Mike is still the one doing most of the learning. He's a young guy, and he's having to move through this very difficult and confusing high-stakes world, and so he's got a lot of learning to do. But that might be something that over the course of the series kind of swings back and forth a little bit, because Harvey is in this season he's a little dark. There's a lot of struggle in him, and he's kind of going against some very important people in his life. So I think that maybe you'll see that a little bit more of that effect on him this season.
And finally, like, what's next for you?
Right now, I'm just trying to figure that out. I'm reading a lot of scripts. I'd really love to go and do a film. I'd really love to keep myself busy, writing a lot of stuff, and just trying to figure out how to use this and move on to things and see if people and fans of the show will come with me to something else.
And I'm going to leave you with this just so you can say that I told you first.
Orphan Black. And
yeah, I know you're going to get on Orphan Black. Yes.
It's a Twitter campaign. It's the only thing I've used Twitter for.
I want to tell you this because it's my theory, and so when it happens, I want you to remember that I told you first. Okay. I don't know when Suits is going to end, but when it does end, I feel like I know what the ending is going to be.
What do you think?
I think Mike is going to enroll at Harvard.
That's a good idea.
Okay. All right. Just
All
they.
right.
I'm the master of prediction. So okay, it's like on tape now.
It's like you mean the last image of Suits is sort of him showing up at Harvard with his like
Either enrolling or
acceptance
like throwing
letter.
his like hat in the air.
Oh, like he's graduating. I think the enrolling is maybe a better option. I have some ideas about what the end of the show will be, but I'm still trying to make sure that those happen, so I'm not going to tell you what they are.
Amazing, Patrick.
But I like where your head's at. I think it's a good idea.
Perfect, Patrick. Thank you so much.
Great to meet you.
Nice to meet you.